It's my pleasure to introduce to this august audience a good friend of mine, Dr. A V Anoop. Anoop is not only a family member, but we work together in many Malayali associations also. And he is the managing director of AV group of companies, AVA group of companies. What can I say about a person like Anoop? Because he's a many splendid personality, as our Madhu described it. I would like to actually talk about him as a person, as I know him as a person personally. Besides all the other matters, other things, other achievements and experiences of his life, which Anoop will share with us, I am really impressed by his character and personality as a person, not only as a businessman. At the behest of his uncle, Dr. Siddhan, he was asked to come to Chennai, and he married his cousin, Murapannu, we say in Malayalam. He married Priya, and not only did he walk into her heart, but also walked into the hearts of many Malayalis in Chennai. And as Anoop grew in stature, his presence in all the Malayali associations was felt by everybody because of his personality. He's a very affable and friendly person, and also a philanthropist, and a passion he has for varied passions, that is varied interests he has, like drama, which is his first love, or is it your second love? And basically he's a Mallu boy who's come to Chennai, and his heart is still in Kerala, but he has taken all the Malayalis, won over all the Malayalis in Chennai. And Anoop's passion, as I said, is drama theatre, which is called T-Marks. He's the chairman of T-Marks, and lately all his family members are also part of this drama troupe, which is what is very striking, because his wife, his daughters, his son-in-laws, everybody is involved in drama also, and very popular too, and very good. And also during the pandemic, see, I am just talking what I think I am impressed about Anoop. During the pandemic, he had made a couple of, or maybe more, short films, and every one of them had a message, including his movies. He has produced about 20 movies, and every movie has a message. And these short movies was about depression, what we need. So it influences the society. He's an influencer of the society or the community he is in. And that's what impressed me. Besides all the other business achievements, he has acquisitioned in business terms, I should say, Melam Masala, and Melam Masala, you must have heard about Melam Masala. It's a very popular brand of the condiments for the food items. And Kaitra is skincare and hair care. He has got a chain of these stores, and also a chain of Ayurveda centers for treatment and diet, food, everything, and a restaurant also that is called, very popular, Sanjeevanam. And he's opened a hospital now in Kerala called Sanjeevanam Hospital, which is very popular. So anything which Anoop does, I would say that Anoop is a man for all seasons, for all occasions, and for all reasons and causes. He does not waste an opportunity to reach out to people, to reach out to the community, not only with a message, but with a helping heart and an open purse. So all this is what impressed me. And lastly, I would like to mention about a movie which he made, a short film, which involved all his family members, without leaving his mother, who was 80 plus, mother-in-law who was 80 plus, and all his sambandhis, his daughters, husbands, and each and every member was a part of that short film. And the grandchildren also. And see, that is what, see, he believes in family. He believes in bonding, family bonding, and he takes it to another level. In spite of all his other passions and occupations, he never leaves his family behind in anything that he does. So these are the things which impressed me, and that is why I would like to introduce Anoop as a person with a large heart and a larger purse. I think Rotary can note that. And so I'm so happy to introduce, and the floor is Anoop's. He can share his experiences. Of course, Medimix is a story by itself. So I don't think, then he will have nothing to talk about. So I'll leave it to him. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, Shamala, for that good introduction. And good evening to all of you once again. And I'm also privileged to meet this august audience. And I'm sure you are all very happy today, since you are able to attend a physical meeting after a long time, maybe 18 months or 19 months now. So I'm also attending a meeting inside a hotel room after 20 months maybe. So I'm also excited to attend this function and to meet the august audience. You are all Rotarians. I respect Rotarians, though I am not a member of Rotary Club. I respect Rotary Club and Rotarians, because your main intention to join this club is actually to extend humanitarian services. That's what I understand. And I have come across various projects undertaken by Rotary in Chennai and other parts of the country. So congratulations to all of you for your active participation, and I'm glad that two clubs jointly organized the program. So Arayar Club and Madras South. And I'm asked to share my experience, my childhood days. 20 minutes is the time allotted. I don't know how will I cut short. But Shamala has given a brief about me, and Mr. Madhu has sent you a very detailed mail. I happen to see that. So that made my job easier. I don't have to explain about me again. But when you ask me to start from my childhood, I remember this 18 days lockdown period, how I spent. This time actually helped me to think about my past. It gave me an opportunity to assess myself in a lengthy way. Because I used to do self-assessment once in 6 months to understand myself as a son or husband or father or a social worker or a businessman. So I used to correct myself, not to share with anyone, to correct myself. But during this 18 months, that gave me a lot of opportunities to understand me in a better way, to understand my strengths, my weaknesses, and to correct myself. And even in my business area, I made a lot of corrections during this period, which I was actually doing without knowledge. And I used to travel a lot, national and international travels, which now I feel that which is not required. Most of the travels were undertaken for others' purpose, not for my business purpose or not for my personal purpose. Now, with this modern technology like Zoom, Google Meet and all, it is easy to manage business without even traveling outside. Only for signing a contract or for a specific purpose you need to travel. And I'm even seriously thinking of why to have a head office at all. Because I work from home now and I'm used to it. And most of the decisions are taken through online only. And only in factories and in the market we need to go in person and then handle things. So that way, a lot of changes I'm going to make. Even the attendance, we used to be very strict managing the people. Now I think why? Because when we allow them to work wherever they are, even now our top officers and all, they work from home. One person is actually taking treatment in a hospital, but he is on duty. I'm not asking them to take it because I need only results. That's what I plan in future. And in personal level also a lot of changes I could make. One important thing is I could reduce a lot of weight. That Shamala knows how much I reduced. So that helped me. A very disciplined life, very disciplined diet, house food. And also more than that, as as Shamala mentioned, it gave me an opportunity to have more bonding with my family. I could spend 18 months with my entire family, consists of 4 generations, including my mother, my wife, my daughters, son-in-law, and grandchildren. So I never thought that in my lifetime I get so much of time to spend with, especially growing small grandchildren. Day and night they are with me. So their classes are also online. So they also have a lot of time to spend. So that helped me. And I could restart my reading habits. In fact, the last so many years I lost touch with books. So now I could read at least 50 books during this period. So it's all helped personally. And also, it gave me an opportunity to think about my younger days, where I started and how, and today what I am, and from where to where. And I'm not saying that I'm a very, very successful person, or there are so many people sitting here who are more educated than me, who are having good business than me. Some are very good professionals. And also I find Dr. Ravi. I have to mention about him. Because when I started the business, he was my main competitor. Chandrika soap. My first assignment was to understand Chandrika soap and then how to compete with Chandrika, because they were the pillar. If you look at it, Ayurvedic soap segment, they are the pioneers in this segment. And they were the market leader also. So I was born in Trichy. My father was a government servant. He worked in Kerala Fisheries Department. Mother is a housewife. I have 2 sisters. So my father, as a government servant, he used to get transfers. So my education was actually happened in different places in Kerala. And I was just an average student, very timid type. But I myself do not know when I changed, how I changed, and how I came to this level. And my schooling started in Trichy, first in a lower primary ordinary school, then to St. Joseph's School, Trichy, is a convent. Then when I completed my 4th standard, my father got a transfer to Calicut. And a small government quarters was allotted to us. And near to that, the quarters, no good schools were there. So I was forced to study in a government LP school. It was just an ordinary school. And I happened to get a photograph of that school recently, present status. I find that no change. Such a bad shape, same school, same tiles and same painting. I was shocked to see that. And the other students also, most of the people around that school were fishermen. It's a fisherman area. So children were also, their children, morning and evening they go to fish market to sell fish and come back without taking a bath, without changing their dress. They used to sting like a fisherman. So that influenced me a lot during that 2 years of my education. Though I was class first, because others are all not that standard. So I was class first, but their body language, their foul languages, their culture, everything was different. I was also influenced by them to some extent. So my mother was upset, father was upset. And luckily, my father again got a transfer to Kochi. So I escaped from there. And Karnataka, when we went there, I find that most of the day strikes, and like Kerala, even now it's like that. So till our quarterly exam classes were not happen properly. So my education was getting affected again and again. And again, my father got a promotion. He became director of fisheries Kerala, and we moved to Trivandrum. There he put me into the best school in the state at that time, St. Joseph's School, Trivandrum. And most of the top rank holders were from that school at that time. So it was a shock to me see my other batchmates. They were all brilliant students, much smarter than me, and not only in studies, they were very good in literary, cultural, sports activities, and the way they speak, the way they do acting. I used to wonder how they are able to do all these things. I was just a timid, and I was even afraid to face them. My students, my teachers. So I always keep away from all of them. But suddenly, one day my class teacher called me and asked me to join NCC. Actually, I was reluctant, but I was forced to join NCC. Then, there onwards, I was very much interested in NCC, and I became the captain of NCC corps in our school. And that was the first lesson I learned actually, to manage people, to take decisions, to command. All those first lessons I got from NCC. Now when I look back, I understand that. That time I didn't realize that I got an opportunity. But now when I look back, I find that that helped me a lot to change my character. Then after schooling, college also, Mahatma Gandhi College in Trivandrum. Again, I was not very keen to do sports or cultural activities or anything. In the colony in which I stayed, I used to do some drama and all, but not very serious. But the college in which I studied, it was very popular for cultural literary activities. And most of the top writers, top actors are all from my college. Even Mohanlal was at that time my college mate. He used to do dramas, and my teacher was also a great actor now. He's a great actor now, Mr. Jagadish. So he used to encourage me to do plays and all. But even then I didn't utilize that. But after coming to Chennai, I got those opportunities. Ashan Memorial, Malayali, Kerala Samaj, so many organizations invited me, forced me. There again, what I did was, every time when I got an opportunity, I grabbed it and I utilized it. This is what happened in my life. Drama also, one day one senior actor backed out from the play, and last minute nobody was there to do that. Everyone approached me, I got an opportunity. I was only 25 years old, and I did a character of 65 years old, and I did it well. And as Shyamala said, now I am an unavoidable stage artist in Malayali circle, at least in Chennai. And the school days, even sports also. I was not interested. I used to play badminton with my sisters. But one day, I heard that this selection process for shuttlecock team was happening in our school. I just went and watched how they are selecting. So many students approached, and they are all playing. And finally, they selected 10 people and asked them to undergo a camp in an indoor court. So I never heard of indoor court before. So I wanted to see what this indoor court is. I went along with them to the indoor court. I spent some time. Then suddenly, out of these 10 people, one boy got hurt and he backed up. The coach asked me to be part of their team. He asked me whether can you hold the racket properly. I said yes. I hold, and after the training, believe me or not, I was in the list to represent the college. This all happened. Then after coming to Chennai also, I played badminton for all the clubs, most of the clubs in Chennai. Not only Malayali clubs, but Presidency Club, Towers Club, and the cricket club, everywhere I played. Conducted, we organized programs, tournaments, and I won many tournaments also. But I'm not saying that I'm a sportsman at all. I stopped it after 40 years, then I stopped playing. This is the opportunities that I got. And my father was always very strict, a very disciplined person, very sincere person, and used to always advise me, business people are not good characters. This is what he used to advise me. Never ever mingle with children of business people. This is the advice I got. So I never had any dreams to become a big businessman. So I was actually planning to become a government servant only as per my father's advice. It is easy at that time, just to write an exam, and if you pass you get a job or a bank of work. That's what I was planning at that time. But what happened was, suddenly I completed 18 years. I got my driving license. At that time, suddenly, by the time my father became director of British Cabinet, he was heading the state at that time. But all of a sudden, he had a massive heart attack and he passed away. That was the turning point in my life. I never expected such a shock in my family all of a sudden. My mother was only 42 years at that time, and I have one sister studying, and I had to take the entire responsibility of the family. Then I realized that no money is available in the bank, not in the house, because we never used to take time. Everything in paper. And we purchased an old house that time, fairly good house. We had an old ambassador car, but some loans were there. It was my responsibility to settle the loans. And LIC, small LIC amount was due, but it took so many months, more than a year to get it passed. So that was another bitter experience I faced. And even to get a birth certificate, legal heirship certificate, at the age of 18, you know how difficult it was. When I go to government departments and I realize what is red tapeism, what is bureaucracy. I didn't know that this man is expecting something. Without knowing that, I was going again and again. Now, looking at the eyes of one person, I can predict what is his expectation. That much things changed. So then, my brother-in-law, he is a retired official from Forest Department. Now he is retired as a conservator of forest. So that time he was a ranger. He told me that he has a old Matador van with him. So why don't you utilize it and then make some money out of it? In case you are interested, I will leave this van here. Then I decided to use it as a taxi myself, and then I started operations. This was in 1981. And when my father died, at that time, head of the department's salary was 1,864 rupees. I still remember, I have his payslip. Only 1,864. That was the highest salary of a government officer at that time. But within 6 months, I started making more than 10,000 rupees a month with this thing, because not only because no mobile phones those days. So I get calls to my residence phone. But when I go out, I miss the calls. Then what I did, I engaged one driver on commission basis. That was another lead. I learned the advantage of delegation of works. Then I also realized the advantage of outsourcing things. Because I started getting 5 to 10 calls a day, 5 to 10 bookings. I had only one way. Then I talked to other travel agents in Toronto who provide vehicles, and they promised me some commission if I pass on these bookings to them. So I used to sit in my house, started attending the calls, and diverted the bookings to other travel agents in Toronto, started making money. So this was actually at that time I decided to concentrate after my studies to do some travel related business. This was my plan at that time, not in a big way, possible way. So this is the time my uncle, like Dr. B.P. Siddharth, founder of Medivis, he started Medivis in Chennai. He actually came to Chennai for medical studies. He joined Elbag Medical College, completed his medical studies, and joined Southern Railway as a doctor. So that time he noticed that many of his patients, especially the Kalasis, lower grade employees of railway, had skin diseases. So he thought of a medicinal oil which was used in our family. Our family has a tradition of more than 300 years in Ayurveda practice. Many of our ancestors were Ayurveda physicians. So he thought of a medicinal oil which was used by his ancestors. He tried that oil to these patients. He found that it's working very effectively. Then his friends advised him to find a convenient way to use this product, because applying oil and then working in the office or outside is difficult. Then only somebody advised him, from our own family only, to think of a soap. Then some relative, one of his uncles, actually taught him to make soaps in a very crude form. So with the help of his wife, he started making soaps in his own kitchen. He started this and started giving to his patients. Then demand started going up. His friends also wanted this product. So they advised him to keep the product in a chemist shop near Perambur Railway Hospital. So he kept soap there, and all of them started prescribing the product. So that is the beginning. Then slowly the company was growing, and in 81 my father passed away. Early 82 there was a big labor unrest in the factory. Though it was a very small factory, and the mistake what he did was he brought some Malayali workers from Kerala, started the activities here, and he provided all the benefits to them, but somehow it misfired, and even his life was under threat. So he was forced to leave Chennai for some time. He put his family, other family members in another house, and he came to stay with me in my house at Toronto. It was my exam time also, my final year exam time in 1982. He noticed what I am doing. I was very busy, studies and also this business activities, driving and all those things. I didn't get much time to spend with him. But after going back, he sent me a very detailed letter about the opportunities in front of me. You forget about taking this government job or your small travel business. If you come to Chennai, there is a good opportunity. These are all the opportunities he has very clearly written and advised me to come. Otherwise, he has no other way to continue the business. You must come. But other family members were against. Because those days, getting a government job in hand is a very safe option. Correct? Even you can ask yourself, if you were in my position, will you accept that offer? Because company was under lockout and no business was taking place. It's a very risky thing. But in spite of that, I decided. That's what I said. I got an opportunity, I grabbed it. So I immediately accepted it. In 1982, multiple times I came to Chennai and started reopening the factory, but the same premises, it was not difficult. So we thought of alternative places. And I opened a bank account, I started a company in my name. Though I didn't know Tamil language at that time, I was not sure of the Chennai or Tamil Nadu market. And I didn't know anything about soap making also. But in 83, I finally moved after conducting the marriage of my sister.
Not your marriage?
Not my marriage, my sister's marriage. I moved. I came here before my marriage. So in 83 I came here and took up the responsibility. And then lot of challenges I faced. First challenge was, as I initially said, how to compete with the Chandrika. Then the day I landed in Chennai, there was a CBI there. You can imagine how, as a young person, entering into business, the very first experience was handling CBI. Because union people have given some complaints about government law for managing a business and all. Based on that, there was an inquiry and a raid happened. Then labor case also happening. But luckily, both we succeeded. CBI case also settled and the labor case also settled. Then we started a small factory near Salem. Because the idea was to manufacture soap secretly without the knowledge of union people. That was the idea. So we identified a place which was 50 kilometers away from Salem, a place called Athur. From Athur bus stand, I used to borrow a bicycle and go by cycle to an interior village called Narsingapur. It's about 7 kilometers away from this bus stand. Such an interior place. We hired a small house, hired locals, and we go there regularly with some experienced people from our team, those who were not part of the labor problem. Then we started the operations from Athur. From there we added more factories, and when I came here there was no office also to sit. I used to sit in Dr. Siddhar's house. There was no place to sit in. Then by 85 we thought everything is settled and business was growing and everything was in order. But suddenly another problem crept in. Till then license was not required to manufacture soaps. Suddenly government introduced a law that all cosmetics should obtain license. And those who make medicinal claims should have a drug license. So it comes under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1956, which we were not aware of. Because we didn't have any legal team to advise us on it. It was a major deviation. In fact, manufacturing a drug without a license, you know how serious it is. One fine day, factories were raided, products were confiscated, and it was a big issue. And this advocates advised me that the minimum punishment for this is imprisonment. Without imprisonment, you cannot come out. So that was the you can imagine a person that time maybe 27 years, 28 years old. It was a major problem. Again, by God's grace, when it came up in the court, I pleaded guilty. I said that I was not aware of it. Yes, I manufactured an Ayurvedic soap. The mistake was only I failed to pay 60 rupees fees. That's the only mistake. But case is not that. Manufacturing a drug without license. But he somehow, maybe he was very a nice person. He took up the case as the last case in that day. And his judgment was actually, imprisonment till the court retires. That was the decision. So he took it as a last case and helped him without arrest. So he moved from that, we got the license, again we started it. So these were lot of such challenges. Then multinational companies tried to acquire us. That was another very big issue those days. Almost all multinationals had acquisition departments. So they tried to harass you, they tried to attack you, and they personally, one chairman of a big multinational company personally came to me and advised me, negotiated with me, and threatened me. But to their surprise, all of a sudden we acquired a multinational brand called Kutikura, one of the oldest brands in India. It's originally a US brand. So we acquired that brand and showed them how we are interested in business and how we are going in that. Then they backed out. And another challenge was actually scaling up our production. As you all know, those days Medicines was 100% handmade soap. We didn't use power in any of the areas in our factory. But those days we were exempted from all the taxes, central excise, sales tax, all taxes were exempted, 100% exempted. So that was one of the attractions. And secondly, we didn't have money to invest to automize it. So we continued the traditional method without using any power. So scaling up was a big issue. We were making 5,000 soaps in a factory a day. We wanted to scale up to 15,000 or something. It was very difficult. Then I engaged with some engineering consultants and they studied our factory and all the activities there and finally concluded that it is impossible to scale up without automation. But that time, what I thought was that I should share this information with my workers, my team, though they are all illiterate people. They are working and they have a very good mind actually. They are all having this mechanical mind, I would say. So I invited ideas from them. I became a good listener. I was willing to listen to all the people. Those who come with ideas, I started listening. We allotted budget for doing experiments to improve. Then we came up with nice ideas. Nice ideas to develop our own in-house developed machineries without power. All good machineries to give more production, but without only manual operation. So such machineries we designed. We started a factory exclusively to manufacture these machineries. And even today, we do that. Certain areas, slowly we are using power now, that's all. But the method is same traditional method. And from this 5,000, 10,000 to millions we are able to make. That's the way we scaled up our production. I would say it's with the help of our workers only. I give maximum credit to the workers. Presently, we are having a very good relationship with our workers and they are all very happy. I selected, when I started the new factories, now I have factories, Chennai I have 2 factories, Viluppuram I have 2, Pondicherry, Bangalore, all these areas, village areas we open factory, picking only local, ordinary people. You can say from streets. Such low-class people who are not educated, not having any financial finance to manage their family. But we took them, we counseled their family members, we gave them the importance of hygiene, cleanliness, quality consciousness, and I can very proudly say that all of them are doing very well now. They are all owning own houses and their children are all doing well in English medium schools. Some of them have become doctors, engineers, and some of them are the students whom I sponsored are now CEOs of some multinational companies outside India. That level, their children have grown up. So I am really proud with my team. And since it is not a business forum, I don't want to go deep into my business activities. I think it's already time up. So other areas, like she mentioned, filmmaking. Cinema I entered without any experience. I didn't have anyone to advise me. I just thought of entering the film world. And of course I am a devotee of Sri Narayana Guru. So I wanted to do one film about Sri Narayana Guru's teachings and his life. So one picture I planned called Yuga Purusha. But the first film as an experiment I started was with a new director, a small story movie. And one documentary also I produced in 2007. See, even my teacher, who is a senior actor now, he immediately called my friends and asked what Anoop is doing is a foolish decision he has taken. He could have at least consulted me. Filmmaking is not like doing business. It's a very risky and tricky area. You should have at least consulted me. But I went on with my ideas. Believe me, again, the very first year I got Kerala State Award. The second year I got National Award. Third year again I got State Award. So like that, I became a very popular film producer. Produced more than 20 films. Malayalam, Tamil and one Bollywood movie also I did. And I started doing some roles in cinemas. Now I do this festival movies, we call it. Some people say award movies and all. But such a good, nice movies with good messages. I do the main role in such movies. I already did 3 movies. Last 2 years I did 3 movies with me as the main character. In the very first movie I got 4 international awards for that movie, including from Russia and America. So the film world is like that, and I got a Guinness World Record. There is a story behind that also. I believed that Medimix is eligible for Guinness World Record because maximum handmade manufactured product is Medimix in the world, without any doubt we can say. So we approached the Guinness World and they studied it, and finally they told us that any record which they declare should be breakable by somebody else. In Olympics, in 100 meters, one person set a record this year. Next Olympics, another person will break it. But they found that the Medimix record cannot be beaten by anybody. That is your achievement. And we made it with 50 years of our experience in the land. So they said it is not possible. Then I thought, tomorrow I should get a Guinness, because I was so hoping to get a Guinness World Record. Then I thought of making a movie with the least time, from story, character selection, production, post-production, censorship, advertisement, and theatre release in 51 hours time. It happened in India. Everyone said that it's not possible, because any policeman will can come and stop your activity. A rain can stop your activity. And normally to get a censor certificate, it will take minimum 1 month. For an approval also 1 month, and after watching the film, they take another 10 to 15 days to issue the certificate. There only the leadership or expertise in management, and it's not a good filmmaker's work. It's a work of a person who can manage things. What I did, I engaged one director who is very close with BJP. I engaged a scriptwriter who is very close with CPM. So he talked to the minister in Central. They gave instructions, and the censor board members waited for completion of the film. As soon as we completed it, they watched it. They immediately issued the certificate. Then government theatres, night at 12 o'clock. Now, night at 12 o'clock only work got completed. Then government theatres, we could open at 12 o'clock. And by the time we are supposed to release advertisements for posters, we pasted the posters. And around 100 people came to watch the movie. That's enough for Guinness. And I was still not very sure, but after 6 months they declared that I will do it. And still I hold that record of 51 hours filmmaking. Small examples I am narrating, and I think already I took much time. So in another occasion, or if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Anything related to my activities, you can ask, because Ayurveda or all other social works are already mentioned. I don't know how to say in detail. But only thing I can say that, many people ask me how you are managing so many activities at a time. That is because of this delegation, and I already mentioned that I trust in people. I believe that all the people working with me, including the workers, are capable of doing their work better than me. This is what I believe. And they are delivering. That's the success of my business. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anoop, because please have your seat. I think in 30 minutes he had made a wonderful speech, from his childhood to some of the, latest adventures he had.